My life has been full of aha moments. As I think back about it, most of those moments happened about a century ago. In May of 1911, I was 50 years old. I was living in England and Scotland, and I was feeling very alone and as if my life was lacking the fun and purpose that I'd always been seeking. At that time, I decided to take a sculpting course. I was going to learn how to be a terrific sculptor. I'd always loved art. My friend, Neville Smith, suggested that maybe I should meet his cousin, who was also interested in sculpting. It turned out that his cousin was Lord Robert Baden-Powell. I was actually not looking forward to meeting BP because I was afraid that he was too full of himself as a British war hero. Once I actually met him, though, once Neville brought him to a dinner party at my house in Scotland, I discovered that we really had a great deal in common, and I was also very interested in hearing about the Boy Scout movement that he had started a few years before. What especially fascinated me was his stories about how girls wanted to be part of Boy Scouting, how they would just write their initials for the registration and wear their brother's uniform so that they could go to the troop meetings. Robert told me about how he had finally convinced his sister Agnes to start a program especially for girls, the Girl Guide program, and they had started that about a year before, in 1910. It was during these conversations that I had the first of these aha moments, when I realized that I could actually be an organizer and guide for a group of girls. I started a small patrol, as we called it, of Girl Guides in Scotland near where I lived. These girls all happened to come from very poor families, and girl guiding was bringing great fun and purpose to their lives. It was, as Baden-Powell called Boy Scouting, a game with a purpose. Soon after, when I returned to London at the end of the summer season, I started 2 more troops of Girl Guides there. And then I had the second aha moment, when it occurred to me that the girls in America needed this program just as much as the girls in the London area or in Scotland. And of course, you know the rest of that story. You know about that first meeting that we held on March 12th of 1912. And you realize how popular girl guiding became after that. It was so popular that I soon ran out of the badges that I had brought with me. I had only one copy of the Girl Guide handbook, and that became so tattered and worn that it was almost unusable. At that time, I decided I really needed to go back to England to gather more resources. When I returned to the U.S., I discovered that in my absence, the girls had decided that they did not want to be Girl Guides, they wanted to be Girl Scouts. And that was the third of those interwoven aha moments, when I saw that the girls could take the lead, that they could be in charge of their own destiny. I imagine that all of you as Girl Scout volunteers have had pretty similar aha moments, perhaps including one where all of a sudden you realized that you could be a troop leader, perhaps including one where you looked around at the girls that you knew, the girls in your own neighborhood, and realized that they needed Girl Scouting. And you probably have also had those moments when you've seen the girls taking the lead and realized how very much they can do to guide their own destiny. I wish you wonderful aha moments in Girl Scouting. It's your Girl Scout story. Tell it.